longtime Democrat, strategist, operative, and highbrow thinker. Hey, Bob, good to have you, man.
Oh, jeez, after all that. John, it's great to be back with you. And despite the fact that I've worked for in the Clinton administration and for Congressman Conyers and Rangel and Claude Pepper and Ed Koch, I would take issue with the partisan. I'm very much with Biden's point that we have to work with Republicans, and I was the only Clinton White House staffer who was kept for 6 months to help in the Bush administration in the transition, despite the fact that I'm partisan, and that's because I do know how to work with both sides, although I'm very pro-Hillary, I have to say, immediately out, and she's gaining so rapidly with 31 points in today's polling over anybody else, Bernie and Biden's dropping because of her outstanding debate performance last time, and the fact that people see she's the victim of a witch hunt by the Republicans, that I think it's a mistake for Biden to go in, but I think he's coming.
Why? Well, but before we get to that, of all those people you mentioned, one of my favorite Democrats of all time was my mayor in New York, Ed Koch.
You betcha.
Loved Ed Koch. He was, I tell you, the two best mayors that New York ever had, Ed Koch, Giuliani by far. But the difference between Koch and Giuliani is if you followed Koch, the guy had such a sense of humor. He was hilarious.
Yes.
And a lot of people, took him the wrong way, but he's a pretty funny guy, and he did a great job as mayor. And remember when he ran for governor?
Oh, it was awful.
Mario Cuomo. It was a horrible campaign. He got beat. And the exit polls showed he didn't win Manhattan. He lost Manhattan. And the exit polls showed that people didn't want him as governor because they wanted him to stay as mayor. Is that unbelievable?
Well, there's that. There was that horrible slogan, vote for Cuomo, not the homo.
Well, I do remember that. That was back in the day. But
right.
But see, he was gay, but
Well, we don't know that.
He was. I mean, I can't say that for
and let me just say, I had dinner with him twice a week. That was part of my job, John. The staff called it babysitting, and I asked him why he never got married, and he said, "Well, why didn't you?" And I said, at that point, I did since. I said I hadn't met the right woman, and he said, "Me too." So, and he was walking down the street with his very good friend Bess Meyerson holding hands, although people said it was like a fish holding hands. So he never came out.
He never did.
And not even to his close staff like us.
So you might not know, and maybe he spent a lot of time with Bess, right? Maybe they were a thing. Who knows? But
there are people, John, who are neutral, who just are asexual, and that may have been where he was coming from.
Those are married guys. You haven't figured that one out? Oh, you're a newlywed. Got it. I'll tell you.
Newlywed, 20 years we're celebrating this year.
Okay, well that's good. See, I've got a little over you there, but
yes.
Anyway, let's not get off on that. Oh God. Okay, Bob, you're making me laugh. Now let's get to.
Good. That's all you can do with the Trump in the field.
Now wait a minute. I predict.
And you're having him tomorrow, really?
Yeah, I've had him on tomorrow. Will be get this.
I am so impressed.
The fourth time he's been on my show. Number 4 tomorrow.
I got to tell you about Trump. I hope it's Trump against Hillary. That's going to make the country really excited as a presidential race.
That's what it's going to be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You can get to Hillary in a minute. Donald Trump is going to be the nominee, and I predicted in May because it's a movement. Nobody can figure out. They think, oh, this gaffe, that gaffe. Did he say Afghanistan? Nobody cares.
No, there is a reason, John.
Movement.
There is a reason, and I think Scarborough had it best yesterday morning. Why are Trump-Carson succeeding? The best soundbite answer I've heard was when Scarborough said, because the Republican Party has lied to us for 20 years, saying cut taxes, balance the budget, and humble foreign policy. Yeah. That is a great answer.
Yeah, I mean, we've been lied to as a Republican so many times. We're sick of the whole thing. Now we're being lied to with Paul Ryan, who basically has got to be the Democrats' best friend, the banksters' best friend, the globalists' best friend. In fact, Bob, a guy like you ought to be ecstatic. You should be jumping up and down that they're actually going to Make Paul Ryan speaker. I mean, you
well,
might
don't
as well
count on anything with that Freedom Caucus, but I would say that he's a wolf in sheep's clothing because you remember the Ryan budget cut Medicare, cut Social Security, cut food stamps, cut education, give all the money to the military, and, I want unity in my caucus, he's saying now. So this is a very dangerous situation. The one thing you can say is that he did work with Patty Murray, the Senate budget chair, 2 years ago, and strike a deal. So Ryan will negotiate and will cave if necessary and doesn't want shutdowns. That's the only thing you can say about Ryan.
Well, and he's a globalist, and he never met an illegal immigrant he didn't like. So we can say that. Now let's get to Hillary, Bob. We got to get right to that. I saw the debate in Vegas, and I thought her performance was stellar, no question. Why would Biden get in? I mean, she's gone up in the polls. Bernie Sanders isn't going to be the nominee. That's just basically fodder. It's kind of interesting, but, when the entertainment factor's gone, he's not going to be the nominee. So why would Biden get in at this juncture, Bob?
And showing his testy side as he enters. Hillary never said, I was forceful on saying go. Everybody was weighing the pros and cons, and so she did too. And her counsel, adding it up, was go. But and Biden's publicly, now revisionistly, saying he said go privately as he walked the president up the stairs, but only if it's your gut instinct, Mr. President. So in other words, I'll support whatever you want. But he's being very testy now. And that bit about Hillary telling the joke on Republicans, well, my God, she's about to go in front of the Republican National Convention tomorrow, her first appearance there in terms of the Benghazi hearings. So, I mean, why wouldn't she say that? It's the fifth in a list of fun things she's saying we're enemies. I mean, why wouldn't she? She maybe should have worded it saying the Republican leadership in Congress instead of Republicans. But, I mean, why wouldn't she say that? So Biden is just getting testy, and it's almost showing why people remember why they didn't vote for him the first two times he ran for president.
Okay, Bob. We're with Bob Weiner, Democratic guru and strategist on a national level, worked in the Clinton White House, worked for Ed Koch and many others. So, Bob, Clinton's got a 31 point
31,
lead now?
Today's Wall Street Journal and NBC poll. It's amazing. Totally amazing.
What are the numbers?
Well, it's 31. And the other poll is she's got Bernie by 21, and Biden's sinking because Hillary's gained 5 in the last month. So the numbers are extraordinary. She's timing it perfectly. You realize we're only 3 months away from Iowa, and so I think Bernie can win New Hampshire. It's his neighboring state. He should. I mean, the polls are flipping back and forth in New Hampshire, but everywhere else in the country, Hillary is dominant. And I think the timing couldn't be worse for Biden. He had a case. I talked to Steny Hoyer, the House Democratic number 2, a couple of weeks ago, and he said Biden will get in if he sees that he would be the savior of the party if Hillary tanks in the debate and in Benghazi, and he's necessary for the party to survive because Hillary is tanking. But that ain't what is happening. Now it's Biden's ego operating.
So you think he's going to get in?
It looking like it.
Why?
Although I'm hoping it's like the Cuomo thing from 30 years ago, where the plane was ready to go to New Hampshire, and he said, "No, I'm not doing it." So I'm hoping that's what it is. I just don't see how Biden helps this, especially since he's shown how this is going to be. We don't need in our debates this kind of testy stuff, making it look like we got internal arguments. Bernie does it right on the issues. Biden's getting personal.
What's his pathway if he gets in? What's his pathway?
Who's Biden's?
Yeah, Biden.
He doesn't have one. He's lowering himself now. And Hillary, if she says, "Joe, we're not going to make this personal. I thought you did a great job as vice president." Where's that leave him?
Yeah.
Where's that leave him? And Bernie and Hillary really were a model of how to debate issues. And Bernie has a lot to say on the issues. He's got a whole constituency. Another thing Steny said to me, Steny Hoyer, the House Democratic number 2, we need Bernie's constituency, those kids who are excited about voting. We've got to have that because Obama had that. Hillary doesn't have it so much, and if Bernie and Hillary get together again and they're closing arms in the nomination, then you really get the kids excited too.
Well, look, that's what the Democrats want, basically, is, big kumbaya. And Bernie Sanders defending Clinton on the emails and things like so. Bernie has decided he's not going to go after it. Look, he knows he isn't going to win, so he's got some other picture in mind, and getting on the bad side of the Clintons not one of them. But Biden doesn't give a crap, right? If he gets in, it's going to be all out war. He's got one final shot. How old is he? 75? I mean, this is it.
72 now.
72. I mean, he would take office at 73.
I was in his kitchen with him when he first announced for Senate. Speaking of 72, in 1972.
He was 20. He was 29.
28, and then he was elected at 29. That's right.
Yeah, it was 29.
Boy, was that exciting, And he remembers. He came by at John Conyers, who I worked for before I went to the White House. He's the dean of the House now. And he came by at Conyers' portrait unveiling, and I was saying to my wife, because they had me in the front row, and I was saying to my wife, I was in his kitchen when he announced for Senate, and with him and his wife and his family, and Biden swung around and looked at Pat and said, that's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, you know, that was a long time ago, but now, I mean, he's 72, he take office at 73. Obviously, he's not going to get in this thing and then pansy around. I mean, if he gets in, he's in it to win it, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be comfortable, though. People, he babbles, he goes long in his speeches. I mean, I love the guy, but that's what he does. He had the plagiarism thing. That'll come out again. He's really weak on choice. He's got a history of being weak on choice, on guns. By the way, on guns, your governor, Terry McAuliffe, is fantastic. He's really putting it to it on the fact that we got to do something real and not pander to the NRA. And so is Hillary. The two of them are fantastic on that issue.
Yeah, well, they their end game is to confiscate guns, Bob, just like
no,
they
it's
did in
not.
Australia. That's what they want to do. They want to
no,
take
it's
all
not.
your guns away.
It's to not have 32,000 deaths a year.
They want to come to your house and take your guns away.
Yeah.
And that's what they want to do. I'm telling you. Okay, look, let's get to. I mean, that's the end game, right? Hillary even said that the Australian model: take all your guns.
Oh,
I mean,
stop.
That's their end game. I'm convinced of it. Hey, that's what Trump said. That's it. He said it. So that's it. Done deal.
Let's talk about. Can we talk about the Benghazi hearing, the witch hunt that's going to happen tomorrow at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Hillary has got to make a point that walk in and they've been very respectfully say there were, because I sent her a little memo on this. I said there are 8 investigations already. All said there's no Hillary culpability. There was no stand-down order. And yes, the propaganda video that they're claiming, why'd you say it was a video, was part of it, as the New York Times said later. It was the overlay that the terrorists used to know that there was a crowd they could roil up. It was not an either-or. And by the way, on the email thing, everybody uses private email, as the hack by the high school student yesterday of the current CIA director, John Brennan, shows, and he discussed Iraq and Afghanistan and Syria in his private emails. Homeland Security Secretary Jeb Johnson was also hacked. Why is the Bill Clinton, former president, home server any different from the Comcast or Verizon server? None of those is government, all are private, and apparently Clinton's was better protected.
I got to tell you, Bob, you're a better Hillary Clinton shill than anybody
I'm not a
shill.
I made the point that I was kept on bipartisan to help George Bush.
Come on, Bob, you're so biased on Hillary Clinton. I mean,
I am biased for her, but with basis
she
on
wasn't
something.
Supposed to use it. Look, Daniel Petraeus did 1/10 of what Hillary Clinton did, and they tried to put him in jail because he didn't fit their left-wing liberal narrative. Okay.
That was a big mistake, and my boss in the White House, 4-star General Barry McCaffrey, told me that was the worst mistake that was made because Petraeus was such a spectacular military advisor, and now he's coming back out and they're having him testify in front of Congress. He's in a rehabilitation tour now.
Well, so much for that. I've got 1 minute. Here's what it's going to be. Trump, Hillary.
Right.
And, Bob, you're not going to agree with me on this, but Trump is going to win. And then what are you guys going to do when Trump beats Hillary? You going to, jump out of like windows and stuff?
I'm not the one who says Trump is this idiot. I don't say that. I say he has a lot to say on trade, on Mexico, on immigration. I think he has a lot to say that is out there and real, and he actually hit on Jeb's nerve when he said that, of course, bin Laden attacked on Bush's reign,
yep.
And of course Bush ignored the memo
yep.
that said bin Laden to attack with planes against big building icons in the United States, and of course, by the way, Bush erased the bin Laden unit, and Obama had to re-up it to get him.
Yep.
So there's a lot of stuff that Trump is right on, and his point that Iraq was the wrong war, and based on going after Bush's brother, and Afghanistan was the right war. But it's not right to say that we started in 2001. We actually waited 3 years, and that gave bin Laden time to escape and run around before we really re-upped in Afghanistan.
It's going to be Trump-Hillary. It's going to be a great race. When it's over, you guys are going to be you're going to be on suicide watch. Bob, thanks for being with us. We're going to have you back